Do you know what the difference between the last game that Mamelodi Sundowns and Pirates played, the 4-1 win to Sundowns, and the game that we saw yesterday was? I think for me, the big difference is that in the first game, Pirates was trying to prove to us that they are a big game team. They can take the game by the scruff of the neck. They can be attacking. They can put pressure on teams. Whereas in this one, we saw the real big game Pirates. You see, with 4 games in hand, you're chasing Mamelodi Sundowns. It's a Sunday, you're trying to catch up. You're at F&B Stadium. It feels like a big game. And there's no bigger game team than Orlando Pirates. You see, bigger game Pirates doesn't try and outrun everyone. They're all about control. Controlling the pace of the game. Controlling when and where to go. Big game Pirates is a lot more conservative. They don't mind going to a 0-0 at the end of the game and then Fukeng pops up to win you the Nedbank Cup. They understand moments. Whenever I've spoken about Coach Jose, I've said that Coach Jose is the master of moments. And we saw nothing different in this game. The first 5 minutes, Pirates went, okay, let's press them high. Let's try to win the ball back quickly. Let's try and put them under pressure. Let's score the goals, and then we get to sit back. The moment is done. First 5 minutes, the moment is done. Now we can play normal, and we can sit back, and we can absorb. What is great about this game is that I don't think Mamelodi Sundowns was ready to go down 1-0, 2-0 within the first 5 minutes. And I think that messed up their game plan. Because I always speak of Cardoso as a coach who's a great tactician. He's great with making changes. He's great with adapting. But sometimes 2-0 is just too far away. Another place where Pirates, I think, controlled the game quite well was in the middle. I've been one of the people that have been critical of Mbata, saying that Mbata doesn't show up when you have to play the ball up. He doesn't show up when you have to defend. And Makaula has so much work to do on his own. But I think that is possibly the best that defensive unit has played, in my opinion. It's the best that there's been cover, to the point where Makaula and Mbata pushed Ribeiro out wide, Ribeiro Costa. And Ribeiro Costa took up positions that were similar to last season when Sundowns wasn't clicking all that well towards the end of the season. And he was going a lot wider. He was trying to play as the right-hand side of a front 3 instead of a 10. It's almost like he was running away from the center. And I think that move made him a lot more quiet on the side. And that took away one of Mamelodi Sundowns' greatest threats, going up the middle. If you can push Mamelodi Sundowns out wide, you're going to see that the spaces close up. What's great about Pirates was that they were disciplined in this game in not allowing Amoreinas Naboshalulile in behind that often. And I think you have to give credit to Utapelo Toki and Umbogazi, because a lot has been said about those two, but it goes towards something that I always say. You always have to have a balance in the center backs. There's a reason why Nda and Sesane work so well. And this is part of the reason why Utoki Nombogazi works so well. There's the youthful guy who's just coming in, he's new, and there's the old head who maybe doesn't have his pace, he doesn't have all that stuff, but he's still got it up here. Okay, so I know I stopped the video a lot, and a lot of you are wondering, why are you asking for money? So I wanted to show you. I asked for money because I want to do more of this. Huh? But the truth of the matter is that it took over an hour in order just to render that shot. And it takes even longer when I'm doing my normal content because, guys, here's the unsung hero of the channel. And unfortunately, Shem, but the screen is broken. I have to use a second screen and the performance is not up to it. So I'd really love to upgrade things like that. And when you look over here, this is what the setup looks like. Rehenga di patlo and rehenga di green screen, which is a reality of being a South African content creator. Also, this is what people think is my studio. is actually my house. So if you still don't know that I'm doing all of this from my home, then I don't know. But that is essentially what I want to do. More of these cool things. But I need you guys to please help me out by donating 50 Rand or more into this account. You know, we're fighting for multi-choice. And multi-choice, but there is subscription models all over the place. And I'd love to give the biggest quality while also being able to pay my rent and do things like that. That is where your money is going. And I promise to give you only the best content that I can if you do throw something in. So I just wanted to show you guys what I want to do with your money. I want to take this South African football and fulfill my dream of taking it into the future. But thank you guys so much. Remember, this is the bank account that you deposit into. Get back into the video. There was a point where Pirates was like, okay, we've got our 2 goals, let's relax. I had thought in the beginning of the game that you would play Nkota and Fugeng in order to try to take advantage of Suarez. And to give Umakhupa credit, he is a lot of the reason why he was winning the ball, why Pirates was winning the ball up high, why they were able to pressure. It's the pressing that we always speak about with Makhupa. Suarez is an incredible player, but the Sundowns defense is hardly ever stretched or put under pressure. At the very least, it's not put under targeted pressure. If you can isolate one of them, you can get something from there. If you can move them away from their positions, you can get something from there. So for example, Makhupa makes a turn, goes in through, can cross it back, there's a goal there. Suarez is out of position. Suarez has a very bad game because, again, I think Pirates was very smart as well in their pressing, in that they made sure to look for those passing lanes, to cut the passing lanes, more than to pressure the person. And that was giving them a lot of places where they're winning the ball, where Sundowns players have to think twice in order to get the ball through to somewhere, where Sundowns players have to, the passes that they normally play, they couldn't find them, because most teams play Sundowns in a very deep low block with maybe 1 or 2 players orchestrating a press. So for them to have Dlamini ready, Mfukeng ready, for them to have Makhupa on the other side, at some point Uhoto was pushing up. You could see that I think it was part of the plan to try and suffocate the back, not let them out, strangle them Lapemuva so that they can't get the ball out, which I think was great. But I think where you see big game Pirates really come out is in the quiet moments of the game. They went up, they did their job, they saw that they got 2 goals, and there was a point where they were sitting back. Now, personally, I think they were sitting back a little bit too deep. At times, there was a time right after halftime when Marco came onto the pitch and they sort of all retreated into the box. That was a little bit dangerous because I believe that's what Mamelodi Sundowns likes and wants. They want a team that is no longer going to attack them. So Abum Fukeng were not getting forward as much. But again, I guess the genius of this was let Sundowns come and knock and play and knock and knock and try and get in. And then towards the end of the game, we'll come back out so that you can just squeeze the time out. So essentially it's attack, pause, attack, so that you can drive them back and stop them from being able to come inside. On Sundowns' side, the change that I was looking forward to versus Orlando Pirates was going to be Salesh, especially in this game. Arthur Salesh, I thought they were going to do the double 10 thing that they do with Ribeiro to bring Ribeiro back into the game. But it felt as though when he came onto the pitch, it further moved Ribeiro out. And I think we saw a desperate Mamelodi Sundowns. And a disorganized, desperate Mamelodi Sundowns. And I understand this is what Coach Rulani used to do a lot. Pumping in balls, pressure after pressure after pressure after pressure, until something happens. And they did eventually get that 1 goal through Mudau. Usaila scoring their blindside run. But I don't think it was enough for them to see it through, especially when Borradio Pani came onto the pitch, Bonkota came onto the pitch, and you don't want to sit with a situation like Kaizer Chiefs versus Stellies, where you're now piling people forward and you catch a 3-1 or you catch a 4-1. So very well played by Pirates. But I would urge Pirates going forward, Play every game like it's a big one. Play every game with the intensity you showed at times in this game, with the control you showed at times in this game, with the ability. You see, the thing about Pirates is that we all know that Pirates has the players. We all know that Pirates has the team to do these things. But most of the time, what beats Pirates is not the other team, it's themselves. You see, this game, like I said in the beginning, was a game of consequence to Pirates that maybe rang a little bit like it was a final. That maybe rang a little bit like this was turn our season around type game. And for those games, Pirates plays incredible football. And I've said before that even when you look at the things like depth, for example, the depth of the team, Abo Musele bakhona, Abo Ndlondlo bakhona, Abo Xoki bakhona, Abo Sibisi bakhona, Abo Mbogazi bakhona. There's so many different combinations of players. But I think Jose just needs to trust them, one, because it's going to be still a very long season. You have to be able to trust some of these guys to come out and play versus lesser teams and win. No disrespect to the lesser teams. While you rest the other guys or change how you play. I loved how they approached this game. Very similar to the two-man counter theory that I always speak about versus Mamelodi Sundowns, that you can play a low block versus Sundowns. You just have to know that you've got an outlet when you go out, and you have to target people and you have to be quick with it. It also goes to show that Orlando Pirates is a chaos team. I said it in an interview before the game that I did. It's a chaos team. It's a team that profits from chasing a defense, making the defense uncomfortable, sometimes making defenses face their own goals or putting Abo Mfukeng into one-on-one situations. What a finish by Presidente Ama 2000s, Mfukeng, 2 goals. He really loves scoring versus Mamelodi Sundowns, and he really loves doing it at critical phases. First 5 minutes is a critical phase, similar to the goal that he scored in the last 5 minutes, which was a critical phase. So I think wonderful performance by Pirates. Still, I will still say that Pirates, if it comes down to a game for my life, the biggest game where I had to choose a team to represent me and play for me, it's always going to be Pirates in those situations. Now, if it's a league situation, I go with Sundowns. The big test for Pirates, yes, you've beaten Sundowns now. Yes, you still have those games in hand. You may be closing the gap, but you don't play Sundowns 7 times. You now have to go do it versus the other teams that are in the league in order to make sure that you make it a tight finish, as Coach Jose said in his press conference. But well done, Mapagania. Mamelodi Sundowns, go back to the drawing board, see if you... hopefully this is not a cliff that you fall off of, because it would be Cardoso facing the first downturn. I still feel like they're too far ahead to worry too much, but this is something that happened to Rulani towards the end of the season, where the wheels started coming off a little bit, or the draws started coming in. Hopefully Coach Cardoso can get them out of that rut, especially looking at Champions League football. And hopefully this international break is going to help them out. But in any case, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you guys on the next one.